Hey, I'm Rora,
I'm Jane,
and we are Birds of Clay.
and we're here to talk all things Australian pottery and ceramic art.
So put your kettle on.
And let's have a chat. We would like to pay our respects to the traditional custodians on the lands on which this podcast is recorded. We acknowledge the rich history of art, craft, and storytelling that has been occurring for millennia, and acknowledge elders past, present, and country as provider, protector, and guide. Working with clay is intrinsically linked to country, and we would not be here without the care and connection that our First Nations peoples have shown for thousands of years on this continent we call Australia.
Hey, Jane.
Hey, Rora!
Happy April.
Happy April!
Yay, an episode together.
I know, it's
Just
nice.
what we
isn't
wanted.
it? Yeah. It's been a time.
It has been a time. This whole entire year so far, I just feel like I'm trying to keep up and I'm falling behind and it just feels totally chaotic, which is not in line with my New Year's resolution of taking my time. So,
No, it's hard, isn't it? And I haven't even really been making at all this year.
Whoa.
I know. I can't even get to the wheel at the moment. There's too much crap around it.
Too much crap. What
Yeah.
kind of crap? What are we talking?
Workshop boxes.
Yeah.
Other boxes. Boxes.
Boxes, yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking around my studio yesterday at all of the boxes of bubble wrap and the millions of buckets and just thinking, every time I'm in my studio now, I feel like I'm just living out of buckets. Like, oh, what clay can I use today? Because I try not to buy clay all year. So I'm like, oh, what clay can I use? Have I reclaimed? Do I have enough reclaim? No, I don't. Crap, I've got to do reclaim. I just feel like I'm not getting anything done.
Yeah, but that's good that you're not buying clay, finally.
Yeah.
I nearly bought clay a couple of days ago. I was up the coast and I was like, I could just go buy the clay shed. Get some clay instead of reclaiming. I feel like we always say this. Instead of reclaiming those 5 buckets I've got.
Gosh, we're just broken records.
We are, but there is a feeling, I think, at this year, and it's probably a little bit to do with us both taking on more.
More work.
Yeah. More like permanent part-time kind of work. Mm-hmm. Getting into that groove. Mm-hmm. Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely there's been a lot of time previously dedicated to ceramic work that has been taken away now. Well, I'm using it for other things, so... Yeah, and I didn't really make any space for those other things. So now I'm kind of like, treading water, barely. It's fine. Oh my God, so messy, depressing already.
Yeah. I think it's good to be honest, I think. But I think this is a creative career, isn't it? Is that we have these times. Like what I did is I was really concerned in January that I'd have no income. Mm. And I took on too many things, for a change. And then they've overlapped with these other things that have just come up, like my job, my paying job, and 2 of my paying jobs, like ongoing kind of work.
Yeah.
And so I've just been way overloaded. I get that freak out and sign up to all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like you need these gigs to keep you going.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Nava's just brought out a report, was it Nava? But looking at artists as gig workers, and yeah, I'm glad that we're starting to talk about what it is to be an artist and how hard it is living in that gig economy. And the report says that most artists are living way below the poverty line.
Yeah.
Which I know I am.
Yeah.
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 It's wild to think about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. On one hand, it's quite stressful some days with workload and everything and trying to keep up. But also on the other hand, I don't know if it's because over the years I'm gaining more skills and, you know, building more of a network, but saying no to a lot of things recently and like having to decline, I guess, you know, maybe, for instance, an order for bisqueware.
Yeah.
One from a local business and one from a local school as well.
Yeah.
Like declining those because no, I don't have time. I can't get to it. I don't know. Did those jobs exist a few years ago, or did those gigs exist a few years ago, or is it that resurgence of popularity in ceramics that's, you know, making teachers aware and want to order bisqueware for their students, or making businesses want to expand into a ceramic range as well? Like, what is it? Were they around previously? I don't know.
I think also, though, like, your profile is increasing too. Like, I don't know, people keep mentioning our names as people who could throw, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe what's happened in our region anyway, is that ceramics has increased and it is becoming more interesting. And there's just not the people who have the skills to meet the demand. Like, we were talking about wheel classes before, and that there really isn't too many people in our community that can run wheel classes.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, that's tricky.
But I do also feel like with those beginner wheel classes that we're building an army. I was going to say community. I was like, I overused that word. Let's go with army.
Army. Clay army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, give it another 5 years, there will be heaps of intermediate level potters, maybe even professional level potters around. Because I just...
Do you think?
I do.
I don't know. I think... I wonder who's going to hang on.
Yeah.
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 I don't know. Be great.
Yeah. I mean, even in the last 12-ish months, maybe a bit longer, at the Pottery Club, just more young people signing up, becoming members, and people doing a beginner's course and then an intermediate course, and just developing their skills and sticking around.
Yeah. I wonder how many people are going to keep it as a hobby and who's going to turn it into a career, though.
Yeah, true.
That'll be interesting. It is funny. Like, I remember... Because I got into ceramics just before COVID. I'm one of the before COVID people, as are you. And there is a bit of a funny thing with COVID. Like, if you got into it post-COVID, everyone's a bit like, post-COVID, hey? But I do remember the COVID time and thinking, wow, ceramics has just hit its peak.
Yeah.
But it seems to have just kept getting more and more popular. Which is crazy, really.
It's good.
Yeah. I like to be the underdog, though. I'm like, I think I'm going to be a glass blower.
Ceramics is too mainstream.
It's too mainstream.
I'm just such a hipster.
Oh, glass blowing looks so hot, though. I don't think it's good for someone who's in perimenopause.
Maybe not. I don't know.
No.
Don't limit yourself, though.
No, ceramics is my love, as we all know.
Yeah.
So, Rora, what's been going on? Besides, like, what we've talked about.
Well, I've been... Like I said, I haven't been spending a lot of time in the studio, but I have had some time to work on a couple of new vessels.
Yeah, cool.
Super exciting. So I was invited to exhibit in a group show, and the premise of the group show, it's called Plus One. So the show is, as an invited artist to participate, you reach out to someone that's been influential or inspirational to you in your career, in your arts practice. Mm-hmm. So I reached out to someone, and we have been talking about what we can make because, it's busy times, and we talked about it a bit last year but didn't really have any concrete ideas. And then we've touched base recently and kind of both, I don't know, been a bit like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? And we just kind of boiled it down to, let's just do vessels. Let's not do any heavy conceptual kind of work around them. Let's just make something that we want to experiment with and have fun with. And so that's been fun.
That's so exciting.
Really, yeah.
Such a great premise for a show.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
I'm excited. So I just wanted to do, I had to go at doing like a diagonal spiked vessel in diagonal lines not that long ago, but obviously not obviously, but it collapsed and I never fired it, so I wanted to try it again.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, matchy vessels. So I've been doing that. And I've already like chipped it 3 times and made repairs while it's been sitting around in my studio, and I'm super clumsy, it feels.
But of course you like to do fine, delicate spikes on things.
Yeah.
That are easily broken.
Yeah. Yeah, silly.
No, it's great.
So that's been fun. Otherwise, just working on a bisque order for the club, and working my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've had some pretty crap news recently, though. You got a pot back.
Oh, yeah. I got a pot back, which travelled with a courier from a show, and it arrived damaged, and that was super devastating. I was really... Do you want to... Okay, I know you were there the day that I found out, but the whole story around finding out is kind of weird.
I love it.
So
well, I don't love it. It was sad, but it was like, yeah, a unique situation, can we say?
So I was at the uni, employed as a life model for the day for the painting class. Mm-hmm. And David, who runs the class, is the ceramics lecturer also. And he messaged me in the morning, oh, do you have any pots you can bring to pose with that could be interesting, depth of field for drawing, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, I'm already in Toowoomba. Luckily I have one in my car with me. And I hadn't unboxed it from the courier yet. I just kind of picked it up from the gate, chucked it in the boot. So it was in the boot for a week. So I get to the uni, I get ready to model, blah, blah, blah. And the lovely technicians unpack the pot for me, because I kind of got there right down to the wire. Got to go model. So the techs unpacked it, and I'm sitting in pose, and David brings my pot over and hands it to me, and I'm sitting with it, and mid-pose, I look down, and I can see that one of the spikes is missing a tip. And I just... because I'm mid-pose, I just can't react. I have to
hold your pose.
Not be devastated externally, so just internally.
And not be like, what?
Yeah, what the heck? And it was really sad because that piece I felt was, or is, the best thing I've ever made. Like, it's in my artist portrait, and I just love it. So that was pretty sad.
Yeah.
There was just a lot that went into it. But yeah.
And it was hard because we didn't know where it had got broken, where along the track.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah.
That was sad.
That was work that we sent with like a professional art courier up, but got it just generally sent back through the post, hey?
Yeah. It's hard too with... I guess it's kind of unnerving when you package your work so well, send it off, and you can't... in the back of your head, someone else has to repack this. And it made me a little bit nervous thinking, I've had a little bit of practice with this. I've posted things to South Australia covered in spikes, and that's been fine. I posted to the UK, it's been fine. So I know that
You know your method.
I know my method and
Yeah.
like that I can do it and protect the vessel. So just knowing that whoever is sending it back probably hasn't packed a bunch of spiky things that is made of ceramics, and yeah, it was a little bit nerve-wracking, but I thought, no, trust the process. But it turns out, don't trust the process, trust your insurance. Pay for insurance, people. Luckily, I put in a claim, and I will be getting my insurance back. So
That's good for the value of the pot.
yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is really such a relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think someone who's been on the other side
Yeah.
of unboxing, installing, and then packing work up again, I really recommend people documenting how it's packed, writing notes and including that in your submission.
Yeah.
So, like, having a document. I mean, some good galleries do that. When they unbox stuff, they have the camera out and they're like, this is how it was packed. This is how we repack it. And then how I've worked in the past is we've labelled every piece of bubble wrap. I know it sounds crazy, but going like Aurora Elwell, you know.
I even had the thought, after unboxing, because it did come back with less packaging. I thought, do I label my packaging next time?
Yeah, well.
Or is it over the top?
I think do as much as you can, but I think having that documentation with it being like, this is how to unbox it, this is how to pack it back up at the end, as much as we should trust the galleries, I don't know, I think it's just another piece of insurance for you too.
Yeah. So that was, a lesson that I didn't feel I needed. But
No, you definitely didn't need that, but, good
whatever.
on you for advocating for yourself and getting, like, putting that insurance claim in and getting it, because, yeah, sometimes I think we can talk ourselves out of that stuff, being like, oh...
And I almost did. Almost just thought, oh, well, it is what it is, but that's silly, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's good that you did. Something we're all getting better at.
Yeah.
The other thing we're getting better at is rejection.
Oh, yeah.
I think this year's been a big year of rejection.
Yeah, it has.
And, I know we've spoken about this before, but it can knock you.
Uh-huh.
Especially if you're already not feeling confident about your work, you're in a slump, you're just kind of in that space. I think you got to really check yourself with rejections from art prizes particularly, and just go, it's an individual, or like maybe my work, there's too much like that work, or my work's not what they're looking for, or their taste's different, or, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it always does hurt a bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's okay. You kind of, you just feel the devastation. You just kind of have to. It's like, oh, that's kind of sad, but...
Yeah, and just
good
keep
thing
going.
about prizes is they come around every year.
Yeah.
Or every 2 years, or,
Yeah.
depending on the thing.
It's good to just remember that you make for yourself as well,
Yeah,
I think.
that's true.
Yeah. I don't know. Don't know what I'm saying there.
I want to talk about something that's happened recently in your world.
Yes.
Jane just graduated and was valedictorian and got to make a speech, and it was amazing. And you shouted out the podcast.
I know, any platform. I
loved it.
I did have someone come up to me afterwards and go, my mum, like, she was graduating in education too, and she's like, my mum does ceramics, and she was writing down your podcast name.
Oh, yes!
In the audience, I'm like, you never know.
You never know. Oh, that was... Yeah, I had to laugh through my tears when you shouted out the podcast. It was,
Thanks,
amazing.
Rora. Yeah, it's something I'm learning about, is to be a little bit more proud of myself when I achieve something and to celebrate. It's something that makes me feel incredibly uncomfortable.
Well, it's like being in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking at you.
Yeah, literally.
But, like, it's amazing. And you so earned it. You smashed it out of the park.
Thank you. Yeah. But I gotta not rest too much, because I'm in honours now and I haven't done too much.
Yeah.
So, I hope Ree's not listening.
She is, she is.
Yeah, I hope my supervisor isn't listening right now. No, I'm on it. Trust me. Yeah.
Amazing. Did
Thank
you
you.
do anything to celebrate, or do we need to go out for dinner?
Yeah, it'd be nice to go out for dinner. I went with my family, but
Yeah.
everyone was exhausted,
Yeah.
including me.
Yeah.
It was like, had the adrenaline kind of come down.
Ooh, let's go somewhere fancy.
Yeah, where is... No, sorry. That's not a podcast conversation. Like, where should we go?
Dinner recommendations, send them through, people.
Just in the Toowoomba, Gatton, Laidley area.
Yeah. We'll sort it out.
Yeah. Yes, no, thank you. It was a time. Yeah.
It was a time.
It was a time.
No, your speech was good. You were getting laughs. People were engaged. I could tell because they were laughing, which means they were listening. So that's amazing.
Yeah,
Good job.
I think I feel really blessed to be given that opportunity, like, to write something and reflect on your study is really good. I kind of think everyone should do it. Every graduate should write something and tell their dogs.
Imagine if the chancellor or whatever was like, okay, everyone come prepared with this speech. We're going to draw a name out of the hat. So everyone just has to write one.
That's a good idea.
No, it's not, because then you don't get the recognition you deserve.
But yeah, no, I think it was nice to kind of reflect on my life and all the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Go, Jane.
Yeah. It has been funny, though, because I haven't been feeling great about my life. That sounds very dramatic. About my career in art, I guess.
Yeah.
I've been just wondering who I am and what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And having all that questioning again.
Is that kind of like... Could we consider it from, like, a post-big event blues? Like...
Yeah, I think so.
People talk about post-exhibition blues. Olympians go through it after receiving medals. Like, they worked so hard for this thing, and now it's done, and what now?
Yeah,
Do you think it could be something like that?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a bit of that, but I also think, which leads us to the topic of the day.
Yeah.
It's to do with also me, how do you say it? Like, not making space for my own time to create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you feel like there's been a lack this year of you being able to express yourself?
Yeah, or just like, I feel like I've just been teaching too much.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of what we're going to chat about, is teaching. So we have both been doing 2 wheel classes a week. I've been also doing a hand building course a month at least. Mm-hmm. I've started teaching after school clay program.
It's a lot of teaching.
I know, just realised
it's so
it is
much.
a lot, isn't it? Yeah, and so I feel that I kind of lost the love for making a bit, and I think something I've really noticed is that I got into ceramic or into pottery because it felt something for me.
Yeah.
And now I've realised I've kind of given, like... And I mean, it's good that we can teach and make money from it, but... Yeah, I don't know where I'm going.
No, I know exactly what you mean. 'Cause I've been feeling the same way. Kind of just always thinking, oh man, I'm loving teaching so much. I'm loving the people I'm meeting and introducing beginners to clay and just all that lovely stuff. And sharing your joy with people, really. Like, that is the really good side of it. And then there's the other side of, the time, dedication, the energy. You're spending this many amount of hours teaching with clay in 1 week. And then how many clay hours are left for you when you're also working outside of clay, like at a part-time job? Yeah, I've really felt that as well. And also when you're teaching, you are hosting people in a way.
Yeah.
You're kind of carrying the room. You're accounting for every person and what they're doing. particularly with beginners.
Yeah.
One thing this past term I've noticed is teaching intermediate versus beginners and how different that was. So the intermediate classes, a few of them I'd taught before the students, but coming into it, I was a bit more relaxed because I didn't need to, I guess, introduce clay to these people. They all have their own background in it. So you kind of, you've got a head start. You don't need to explain how to center, like everyone knows how to center. So you kind of jumping off from a really good point. You're just kind of showing people how to take their forms further, I guess.
And I think, I just thought about it. I feel like in a beginner's class, people come with big expectations.
Oh, totally.
Because they've seen, particularly with throwing.
Yeah, yeah.
You've seen it on YouTube, you've seen it on TikTok, you've seen it on Instagram. And it looks so easy. Everyone always says that. You make that look easy when you do the demos. But
everyone says that all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I say?
What?
Well, imagine if I made it look hard. You probably wouldn't want to be here.
That's great. But I think that's what happens with beginners. I think there's a lot of people that just don't have the resilience to learn that. That their expectations exceed reality.
Once people start failing, you see, I guess, how people cope with the failure differently.
Yeah.
It brings some people go really silly and just
that was
me.
This
is so fun.
That was
like,
me.
I'm getting clay everywhere. Who's the messiest? It's me.
Yeah.
Or there's people that, like you said, have that expectation on themselves and they get really frustrated.
Especially if they have an identity as an artist. So I've had some people come to beginners who are like, I'm an artist, I should be good at this, why am I not?
Yeah.
And like, that's hard, hey?
Yeah.
And
so have you had many people get to that place where they're really frustrated?
a couple. Yeah.
How do you manage that?
That's a good question, hey. And I think this is a great question to be digging into. Because also, like, there's the outwardly frustrated person, but then there's 3 other people who are struggling to center as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, I noticed I spent a bit too much time on some of those outwardly frustrated people. But it is true, like, it brings up the question is, like, do you do a step for them? Like, do you center the clay for them? I'm not sure still.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you do if someone's really frustrated?
I kind of... So one thing I like to do is I bring in my first thrown piece.
Yeah, I did that.
And it's, like... I love it. It's very special to me because obviously I can see where I've come from. But it's this, like, little gum nut shaped, unscented thing that is just so much heavier than it looks. And, like, it's horribly done. And people are, you know, making things, even if they're off center, that are much better than that piece. You know, I know it's all subjective, but
yeah.
Like, they can see that it's better. And I have that self-awareness that the piece I made first, like, it's one of those pieces we were talking about before that probably shouldn't have fired. But I'm so glad I did, because now it's a learning tool for the other people, because they see it and they go, oh, mine's not that bad.
That's great. Hey, what were you like when you started? Like,
I was one of those people that would have really high expectations of myself. And I struggled a lot with frustration. And I remember one time, so in the Bachelor that I did, I think it might have been the same for you, you don't get on the wheel until second year.
Yeah.
So it's all hand building up until your second year when you choose ceramics. It's like, oh, you've chosen ceramics, you get to do the wheel. So we had, like, an introductory kind of lesson where the lecturer demonstrated, and there was, I think, maybe 8 people a wheel each. But it was very hands-off kind of teaching, and I take a really different approach. Because I feel like people don't people underestimate how much pressure you need to use. So I'll ask, for permission first before I put my hands on anyone else's, but I'll then help them center from the outside, and they always go, "Oh, whoa, like you're pushing really hard." And I was like, "Yep, tell me if I'm, pushing too hard or it hurts or whatever."
Crushing your hand.
Yeah. But then I find after people kind of understand how much you can push the clay, they find it a lot easier because they kind of think, "Oh no, I can really push on this thing." But yeah, one day I remember when I was learning, I came in to class. I was like, "Yep, today's the day." I'd done a few practices, but I wedged and balled up 10 balls of clay. Had them all ready in my bucket. And every single one flopped and went into the slot bucket. I went to the toilets and I cried.
Oh,
I bawled my eyes out because I loved clay already immediately so much. And I wanted to be able to, manipulate it and make things that I saw in my head. So, yeah. But I think that's where the satisfaction comes from when you do work on it and you can start doing that. It's like, oh, this is I've earned this. Like,
somebody said, I think it might have been Glenn Barkley, he said, like, if you don't find it easy, then it kind of keeps you coming back. It's interesting, isn't it? Like, I felt when I was learning, I just thought it was hilarious. I just thought it was the funnest thing ever, so I didn't put any pressure on myself, which I think was good to begin with. But then I felt like I had your experience 6 months later when it was my cousin's 40th birthday, and I'm like, I'm going to make her the perfect cups. And I'd done my 6-week course like 6 months ago, and hours and blocks of clay later, I think I had one cup. Little wonky cup. And I was like, oh my goodness.
But did you fire it and did you give it to her?
Yeah, she's still got them. Yeah. She's like, I love them. And I'm like, oh, they're so bad. But no.
But how good is it to go visit her and then look at them?
Yeah. So it is. It's interesting. I think I always say to my class, we all have expectations. You can't have no expectations, but try and lower them.
Yeah.
And enjoy the process.
Yes. There's something I've heard some potters say, I don't know if it's a common practice, but don't fire your first 100 pots.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's something I still don't know about. Process versus outcome is something I'm interested in. So
there's
the joy. So last week, my beginners came in and collected their pots. And the joy that they had from those little wonky pots was like so huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And even the ones that went a bit funny were right. I think it's probably a balance there. Some of them got fired that probably could have been weeded out.
Yeah.
And I was thinking maybe it'd be good, like, we're jumping all over the shop, but it's all interesting.
Yeah.
It's like on your last lesson before you bisque your pots is to get, and this is like a 6-week kind of course, wheel throwing, like we're talking about a very specific thing, is to get everything they've made and go, okay, best 5 or 5 you want to keep from this.
Yeah.
Because most of them had about 8 to 10 pieces.
Yeah.
And I think, if you picked 5 from that, then you could probably, because some of them just had like every bit of clay they'd touched.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
It's funny. I was talking to Sam about this.
Yeah.
At the end of the last course, he said the same thing. He was like, "What if everyone selects their best work and that's the stuff that gets fired?" And I think it's a good idea because then it's also you're continuing on and you're not being misguided if you continue your journey in pottery. You still you'll kind of understand that you lose pieces along every step of the way. So even if you've already trimmed something or attached a handle and it's dried, maybe just physically, breaking that piece, put it in the bucket. That could be a really good lesson too.
Yeah. I mean, even if you didn't have like numbers on it, but we talked about it. and people had the time. Because I think there is something where we're like, a friend was saying the other day, like, every kid wins a prize, you know?
Yeah.
It's like we do have that culture a bit where we're like, everything's fantastic. And it's not. Like,
Is it the culture or is it you and me?
no, it's definitely the culture because people pay money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about capitalism too. Like, people pay good money. We're meant to provide an experience. Mm-hmm. It's not like true, like, we're going to teach you to be a good potter.
Yeah.
It's like, here's some nice time out of your week to do something fun and interesting.
That's funny. That's good. That's a good perspective.
Do you think?
Because
Am I being too hard?
I think my perspective when people come into class is, I'm going to train you up to be a potter.
Train you for my army.
And when I talk about, you know, when I'm talking to the class about future tense, I say, okay, so when you go on and you want to be on this course, making a mug, blah, 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 blah. So I talk to everyone as if they're never, ever going to stop doing pottery. Some people kind of...
But I mean, it's working.
Some people they're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah. I'll do that,
yeah. But I think that's different too when you're doing a 6-week expensive kind of commitment course versus like a 3-hour hand building, which is the other thing I do a lot of.
Yeah.
A lot of that's like a date. People come with their partners.
Yeah.
Or their friend, or like it's a gift, and it's just for a nice time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I think with hand building, in 3 hours, you can't make that much.
You can't make anything enormous.
No, you can't. I don't give them enough clay.
How much clay do you give them?
We go through about a block for 8 people.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. But I noticed your pots versus my pots in the beginner's throwing. I give everyone smaller bits than you need to.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of and it probably reflects our own practice.
I thought, okay, how many throwing sessions do we get in 6 weeks? Mm-hmm. 5. Is it 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5. Yeah. Yeah, because one's clay.
Oh, you like split the bag.
I just thought, okay, how much clay do we have per lesson? It's this much. How do we do that? And I divided by 4. So it's like everyone gets 500 gram balls, 4 500 gram balls per lesson.
Wow. See, I do about 350.
Okay.
Because, like, I don't know. I found centering 500 hard for me.
Okay. Maybe I'm too hard on people.
No, like, look at your outcomes. They're good. Oh, it's interesting, isn't it? So many things. So, do you do demos? Do you do a lot of demos?
Yeah. When I started teaching, I was doing more, but...
That's because we had an extra wheel, wasn't it?
Yeah. Now I kind of said, oh, we could fit another student in here. I don't need a wheel. So I just borrow a wheel at the start. I go, okay, guys, like, we're going to do bowls. And that's the first lesson is bowl because the clay wants to open up. So I thought this might be the easiest thing to kind of introduce people to. So yeah, I'll do a bowl and then week 2 I'll throw a cylinder. But then week 3 we do cylinders again. So I don't really...
I know. Well, I think, to be honest, like, week 1 is like, how the hell do I center this?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Sometimes week 5 is how the hell do I center this? Like,
yeah.
It's not much. It's interesting we try and pack so much into a beginner's course. That was some feedback I had from a student. They're like, I would have loved if we just kept trying to throw a cylinder and didn't learn anything else for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
They were said, I could do that for 3 months. But that is not the happy, fun, casual class. That's learning to be a potter.
Yes.
So, again, it's that balance, isn't it?
Oh, here's an idea.
Yeah.
Do we offer 2 different courses?
The serious.
1, how to be a potter.
Yeah.
2, come and have fun. I don't know. For 6 weeks.
I mean, that's probably what your intermediate is, isn't it? It's like, hey, you actually want to do this?
You've got to go away and practice. Yeah. And
that's where we kind of, this conversation started, is that you said you were enjoying intermediate more.
Yeah.
And that's because they're serious. They want to know more.
Yeah.
Their expectations are less because they know what clay does.
Oh, that makes sense. I don't have to convince them to like clay.
Yeah.
I don't have to try and win them over, which I guess I'm really trying to do with beginners.
That's great. I try and talk people out of it. I'm like, I think you'd like hand building.
Oh, no.
No, I don't. But I think for some people, especially like if you've got an injury, you're in a lot of pain throwing. I'm like, don't throw, hand build. Like, as long as you're touching the clay, it's good.
Let's maybe talk about some students we've had. No names, but this last course, after the first lesson, I had one guy come back the next week and he said, I bought a wheel.
Yeah.
He had done a total of 2 hours of pottery and he went and bought one of those wheels on eBay.
Oh, no.
No, he got it and he brought it into class and he unboxed it in class and he goes, can you have a go? So I told him when he was, after week 1, he was thinking, oh, maybe I'll buy one, blah, blah, blah. I said, if you do end up going the eBay route, whatever kind of wheel is on there, I can guarantee you that there's a video on YouTube of a potter reviewing it. Yeah. So make sure you check on YouTube and get one with a good review. So he did that.
Yeah, there's like the Vivor or something. They're like...
It looks like a tiny Shimpo.
Oh.
Like, it's blue and it's got the white clip-on tray, but it's really, like, small, I guess.
Yeah, interesting.
But it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, great.
Pretty good.
I did notice that, this is totally a side conversation, but there's a company called Meat Ceramics.
Oh, yeah.
Not as in, like, MEET. Or 2 women who have connections with Jingdezhen.
Yeah, cool.
And they're importing wheels that are quite a lot cheaper, but look like Shimpo. Like, you can probably get a base model at 700.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh, that might be a good, like, in between for those people who do 2 hours and then buy a wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This wheel that my student bought, I think he said it was it was either $250 with delivery or $300 with delivery.
That's cheap.
And it was pretty strong.
Yeah, wow.
He said
For how long would it last?
He said it allegedly could handle 5 kilos, which I had to go and I thought, oh, maybe not 5.
Yeah.
Maybe 4.
Yeah.
Max.
You know, so I've started doing this after school program.
Yeah.
Called Clay Club at an all-girls school. And can I tell you, like, I kind of love it now. It took me a little while to get used to the girls. And there was, like, one day we had 25 students come. And it just keeps getting bigger every week. And I'm like, okay, we need to cap it at 15 because there is a lot of diversity in that room.
Yeah.
And they're from grades 7 to 12.
Oh my goodness.
So there's a lot of diversity in that room. But it is so different to teaching adults. Like, kids go rogue so easy. And they're so straight up. Yeah. Like, they're just like, this isn't working. Help me, you know. But they're not, like, kind of as caring.
Yeah.
So, and some of them just make the wildest things. Like, one of the kids, she might be my favourite. Not that I have favourites, but she made a worm. Like, just a worm. But it was, like, so detailed.
Wow.
And, like, amazing. And I was just like, wow, that's really weird. And it's, like, got the underglaze and made, like, the saddle, like, the reproductive bit. And, like, it's a really good worm. You know, you think someone's going to do a worm and it's just going to be, like, roll out. So I'm done. But she was like, yeah.
That's
She's
amazing.
also, like, the naughtiest kid in the class.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I guess with skills like that, she can afford to be naughty.
Yeah, I know.
She doesn't have to pay attention.
Oh my goodness, I always have to check. Sometimes I'll like turn around and look and they'll be like, everyone's covered in clay.
Oh my god.
And paint, like acrylic paint. I'm like, where did the acrylic paint come from? And it does not go with clay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. But it is really fun. There's something about kids that's a lot freer, I think, than adults. The ego isn't as involved.
They don't have as much baggage, maybe?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's fun. We just did pinch pots, and then next semester I'm going to work on slabs with them. But I think we're going to do some fun, like, hanging kind of things. And I'm not really sure. I was going to get some, like, nylon wire.
Yeah.
And make little hanging
nice
objects.
Yeah.
You know, cookie cutters.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think
But
it'd be
also
fun.
chaotic. 25.
Yeah, too much.
That I cannot imagine. I can't even picture it.
And it's like, not everyone listens. Not everyone came on the first day. Like, they're all at different stages. They're like, how do I paint this? And you're like, it's glaze. And it's over there. And so then they're like pouring it on. And, you know, like you just...
My goodness. Wow.
But can I also say I'm being paid really well?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
In
Fabulous.
school. I mean, I'm having a bit of a break now because it's school holidays, but...
Which is another perk.
It is. Mm-hmm. It is. And it was something I was like, oh, this is too much, this is too much. But when I kind of had that realisation I was teaching too much and that my own practice was suffering, and I kind of spent a bit of time writing up some ideas that I wanted to make and working on stuff, I kind of felt better. I was like, no, I can teach. I just need to make sure it's not my everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to have a little bit of focus on something else as well.
Yeah, and I actually think that maybe I don't want to teach the wheel. I know I've said this before. I think maybe the wheel is my happy place.
Okay.
And it's just for me.
It's kind of sacred.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
That's interesting because I can relate.
Yeah.
In my own studio. So I started teaching in my studio.
Right. Yeah.
But now that I've taught somewhere else, my studio feels sacred. Like I don't want to share that anymore. So yeah, relatable.
Yeah, and it might be different when I'm back on the wheel and making a lot. I might feel like, oh yeah, I'm ready to share this again.
Yeah.
You got to work out what's right, don't you? And where does your teaching kind of passion sit?
I also remember learning how to throw and looking around at everyone else and what they were doing and thinking, how are they applying the same information differently and doing something so much better than what I'm doing? You know, everyone has a different way of learning as well.
Yeah.
So I have a friend and he's a bit hard of hearing and he always has been. So his best learning method is reading instructions, written instructions, which is the complete opposite to me. Like, I am a visual learner. I will learn by watching someone, whereas he doesn't. He doesn't have that like creative perspective, and he can't really hear instructions. So the best way for him to learn is reading. And I had never really thought about different learning styles much until I had that conversation with him. But you think about that in a classroom, everyone there has different strengths, and maybe some people that come to do wheel throwing, which is the beauty of wheel throwing, they're not creative. Like, they're not artists in any other way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they might have a very analytical brain or have a...
Like an engineering kind of perspective. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can still get so much out of it, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think maybe, like... So for me, being on the wheel, I even struggle throwing at uni because there's people around.
Yeah.
Like, when I throw, I love to be on my own. I love having music on. And I love being just... Like, even my partner coming and saying hi, I'm like, go away.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to be on my own. And so maybe that's why I struggle to teach wheel throwing, because I'm like, this is wrong. Everyone's talking and it's loud and people can't.
You notice some students really struggle with having other people around as well. Yeah.
Especially how the wheels are set up at the club.
Yeah.
They're all so close to each other. Have you had when, like, people are on the other person's pedal?
Yeah. And they're like pedals are touching.
Yeah. I'm like, no, this isn't good.
Yeah, like, I remember being really self-conscious when I was learning and constantly thinking, oh, I hope no one looks at what I'm doing. Because I was the same. Like, I couldn't focus. And I, when you get a little bit frustrated or feel like you're not doing something right, it kind of snowballs.
It can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me, anyway. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
Have you had any disasters in teaching?
I mean, generally, yes. I've been teaching for 15 years, but not pottery. So many disasters. No. Not like... I did have a student that just came, like in this recent term, came for 2 and never came back. and she, like 2 lessons out of 6, never came back, and she was really struggling and was quite upset.
Okay.
And never heard from her again.
You didn't find out why?
No, we'd reached out a couple times, but yeah, I don't know. I just think she had her own stuff going on.
Yeah.
But, you know, you take that on as a teacher. And yeah, I still feel funny about that. There's 2 little pots that she did make that I glazed, that I pulled out of the kiln last week. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if she'll love these or not. You know, if she'll ever get them, she'll come pick them up or... Yeah.
I had that with one student.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly the same.
Yeah.
Is it me?
Yeah.
But we actually did hear back, and turns out she had some personal things going on. So,
Yeah. I think it's probably the same with this person. I mean, I haven't checked. Maybe we have heard back. But I think that's another funny thing, isn't it? When, like, someone else is organising the classes and you just, like, rock up.
Yeah.
It's funny with my hand building classes because it's run through, like, a different studio. The person who runs that studio does all the communication about picking up your pots.
Yeah.
And all that. And oh my goodness, like, that's a big bit of the labour.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's where things can kind of go wrong sometimes. Well, I just fire it and drop them off.
Yeah. What about that one time there was that glaze issue with student work that you had? Clay glaze?
No, that wasn't student work.
Oh, wasn't it? I thought it was.
That was my work.
Oh, that's even worse somehow.
No, it's not.
Oh.
I'd much prefer my work to be a disaster.
I must have mixed it up in my head.
Do you mean when it all bubbled and ran off? Yeah, no, that was just my stuff.
Okay.
Thank goodness.
Sad.
It was the glaze I was about to use for the students.
That's what it was. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And luckily I tested it.
Luckily.
Yeah. What do you reckon about one-off versus, like, one-off workshops versus kind of courses?
Yeah.
Because you've just done a teapot workshop, haven't you?
I liked that.
Yeah.
So that was another intermediate one.
Yeah.
People coming that already love clay, that
Yeah.
already have a certain amount of knowledge and skill built up. So, I really enjoyed it, and it was less pressure. And teapots are quite involved, especially when you're just past beginner level or maybe still beginner level. Like, there were people in the class that had never done lids before.
Yeah, cool.
Hadn't pulled handles before. So, like, there were people, they learnt a lot of new things, which I enjoyed. And I thought, you know, you guys can go away and do this style handle on mugs, or you can do jars now because you know lids. And yeah, it was good. I got people to draw their design first when we talked about I guess how to engineer a well-made teapot, and seeing them draw it and then plan it out and make it was really impressive. Like, to have a drawing and then a made
I like that.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It was good, and I think it helped the students feel a lot more successful because they made exactly what they drew. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was cool.
That's great. Yeah.
I have another workshop coming up.
You do?
And it's my first ever, I guess I'd call it advanced throwing.
Yeah.
It's an advanced throwing technique. Do you reckon?
Yeah.
You reckon? Yeah. So
I don't know. I've never done it.
I'm so excited.
Is this the one at the coast?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
That'll be cool doing it somewhere different too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's, so they provide the clay, they do the firing, they do all of it, they do all the sales.
You're just like the beautiful visiting artist.
I just get to come in, do the lesson, and then go.
That's awesome.
So the studio reached out to me last week, and I'd only sold 2 out of 10 positions.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, can you advertise a little bit more? And I'm glad they gave me the nudge, because it was something that I kept meaning to do, but in all the busyness of everything, it kind of just slipped under the radar. So yeah, that day I made a reel. I put it out there into the world, and pretty much instantly sold 4 more spots.
Oh, that's great. It was a good reel.
Oh, I thought, oh, this actually works.
Yeah.
If I actually put the time and effort into doing these things, it works.
But also, like, you've built up a great following, and on your social media, like, you're quite active on there.
Oh, too active.
I'd, like, do 5 things in one day, and then you don't see me for 3 weeks.
It's, like, also the bane of my existence, because I get really overwhelmed with inboxes. Like, okay, when you think about it, right, we have all these different messaging platforms. We have email, text, Facebook Messenger.
I
have a WhatsApp group.
4 or 5 emails I've got at the moment that I'm meant to be on.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I know.
Gosh.
I know.
Too many.
Yeah.
And then what? There's the Instagram messages. And probably other things I'm forgetting. But, like, it's too much. So I kind of let my Instagram messages build up. And then I'll go through them. And sometimes, like, it's always different lengths of time. Like, the other day I went through and I had messages on there from, oh god, it's embarrassing, 50 weeks, which is almost a year.
It's alright.
It's just too much.
It's just hard to keep on top of it all. I mean, I've got that inability to have something left unread. But then I'll open it and read it and not respond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might end up doing a email in my bio or something. Like email for inquiries. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, I don't
I wonder if you can, like, I know with the Studio Do Hand Building With, they have an instant reply on their Instagram that says, like, thank you for contacting us, we'll be in contact. Or you could have a thank you for contacting me. If it's important, send an email.
Oh, that's good.
That just gives you another layer.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so good about that course. I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah, the course.
Yeah, yeah.
It'll be great.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think? This is one of those conversations that's in the ceramic community at the moment about when should you teach? Like, how much experience should you, like, because I think there's a bit of a feeling that some people are teaching who shouldn't be.
Okay.
You know, that people are teaching, they've done a beginner's class.
Yeah.
And then they're kind of like, I'm going to teach now.
Oh, too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I know you can't really measure it or scale it of years of experience because...
Depends how obsessive you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It depends how much time you've actually spent in that year practicing. Because, I mean, I don't want to call out anyone specifically, but I've seen someone throw and then they've said how long they've been throwing for, and it's like, oh, okay, like, not what I expected at all. I thought maybe a lot less time or a lot more time, or because you know, someone might have been throwing for 3 years but they haven't stopped, like they've done it so much.
It's like they've done their 10,000 hours.
They've attended all these workshops, they've had different teachers, you know, they've really tried to develop their skills. Whereas there could be people that have been hobbyists for 20 years and they don't have the same skill level as that other person, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know either, but I think it's a really interesting question.
Is there an answer?
It's like, it's something I guess I thought about when I was asked to teach. I didn't feel ready to teach wheel throwing, and a few people said that's ridiculous. But
it
I don't
probably
know.
comes down to a personal...
Yeah. I think you need to have a good handle on, like, if you're teaching beginners, you need to have a good handle on centering, opening up, throwing consistent walls. Like, I think if you don't have that, you shouldn't be teaching.
Yeah.
You know?
One thing...
I mean, it doesn't mean that you can't fail, you know?
One thing I think is you need to be able to look at what someone else is doing and be able to diagnose what they're doing wrong.
Yeah, and maybe that's what I'm lacking.
Make those corrections. Like, your hand is here, but I want you to try and move your hand here.
Yeah.
Or...
Between 3 and 6. I'm always like, between 3 and 6, everyone.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I'm super specific. Like, I probably am a bit overbearing teaching. Like, okay, I want you to try holding your sponge like this instead of that.
No, that's good.
Like,
And that's...
you need to go to the base all the way out. Like, compress the base all the way out to the corner. You've got more clay there. Like, I'm really...
That's great.
Like, when I'm teaching, I'm constantly circling and, like, telling people what to do. Some of them probably get pissed off, but...
No, I think that's good. And I think that's probably what I liked a bit. But it's interesting. I think, well, my class, they were rolling their eyes where I was like, don't touch the clay unless the wheel's going.
Yeah.
Don't touch your pot unless the wheel's going. They all were like repeating it to me and laughing at them in our last class.
I do the same thing. I tell them the same thing. And when I see someone fiddling, I go, oi!
Yeah, totally.
Stop it!
Stop it.
Spin the wheel.
But yeah, no, that's a really good point. You need to know how to correct someone. And I think I know someone in your intermediate course throwing's got so much better from you doing that. And that's amazing. I think that's probably something I need to learn more.
Where does that skill come from, though?
Yeah.
So for me,
yeah.
I felt like when I was starting out wheel throwing, there wasn't a lot of instruction. There was, I guess, a lack of instruction.
Yeah.
So it was very much, here's the basics, now you go off and learn. Like, it was real brief, very brief.
Yeah.
And probably a real absence of information. That wasn't shared. So then, and then all, COVID happened, everything shut down, like maybe 2 years into trying to throw. So in that time, I spent all that time trying to like figure it out, basically, and learn the hard way. Like, why are things exploding in my kiln that I'm learning how to fire? Like, learning what's too thick, what's not compressed enough, just all through trial and error. Like, I just feel like there's so much trial and error involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe information overload. I do that to people.
No, I think it's good. And I think that correction is what is needed. Yeah. But I mean, I feel a bit the same. Like, I did my 6-weeker, taught myself from there, did an intermediate that wasn't... There was no remedial advice given in that intermediate. It was just a demo. You go for it.
Oh, yeah.
That was all that intermediate course was.
Okay.
So what I'd do is I'd come home and I'd watch YouTube clips about it.
Yeah.
And practice. So, yeah, I've been a bit of a solo. And, I could throw fine by the time I got to uni. So I wasn't at all part of that class, really, when it came to throwing.
Going back to what we kind of said at the start, how in Toowoomba there aren't that many people that can teach wheel throwing. I was talking with the pottery club.
Yeah.
And we were kind of thinking, okay, who can? And we couldn't think of anyone other than you and I. So there was an idea, okay, maybe I could host a teach the tutor class.
Yeah, like be a mentor. Yeah.
And, kind of run through with a couple people how to run a class, what to look for in people throwing. And then I kind of have gone away and thought about it. Okay, but does that mean that I become the person that decides if someone's ready to teach or not? Because I don't really want that responsibility. And I don't feel like I could inhibit anyone in that way and say, like...
Yeah, and also, like, that's good, but I think you need to have the experience under your belt too. Like, you can't just have been throwing for a year casually
totally.
And then do this and then teach, because I don't know, it's interesting, like, how much of it is learnt kind of bodily knowledge. I mean, that's kind of opposite of what I was saying before, but so many ideas. Yeah. And I mean, some people go, you should have a degree, and I'm like, a degree does not mean you have the skill.
Yeah. No, definitely
It means
not.
you're good at storytelling and telling ideas and know how to justify things. But I think skill development is a very different trajectory than...
So you've got to have the skill development.
Yeah.
You've got to know the why, because beginners, don't understand the processes behind, throwing to firing and finish piece. So you've got to...
Yeah. You need to know the ins and outs.
Answers to all of their questions and
Yeah.
explain why we do certain things.
You need to have failed a lot.
Yes. And that's another thing with frustrated students. I say, look, guaranteed way to develop your skill is to fail.
Yeah. I pushed that more this term and
Yeah.
people responded better.
You've got to know how far to push the clay.
Yeah.
So, I just tell them, oh, you're technically a step ahead if you flopped a pot.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So good at failing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have all the answers.
And we were kind of talking a little bit before we recorded about getting in and doing the podcast.
Yeah.
And how we did have a little bit of self-doubt, like...
We still do.
We still do.
Right now, I'm like, is anyone even interested in this?
Oh, more like, how do we know if we're ready to do a podcast?
Yeah.
I think you just have to want it.
Yeah. And just do it and you work it out.
Yeah.
And I mean, some of these episodes aren't going to speak to everyone, but it's great just to do it. And I think we also went into it, which again aligns with teaching, I think, or learning, is we went into it not going, we're going to be the biggest podcast in Australia, we're going to have this many listeners. We just went, this will be fun.
Yeah.
And I think
and
that's
it is
something I really try and push on my students, is like, just try and enjoy it.
Just have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, really, the outcome doesn't matter. Like, as long as we're having a good time.
Yeah.
And also, I think a bonus would be people connecting and finding community or feeling connected by listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
The thing we felt a lack of in our studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really nice note to end on, I think.
So we hope everyone is enjoying themselves by listening to us.
Yeah. And, jump in. Like, if something we've said you agree with or disagree, even better.
Yeah.
Let us know on email or Instagram. And that Patreon is still coming, so watch out.
We are working on it.
In between our many jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we do have some news to share.
Oh, we do.
Which you may have seen already, but Jane and I will be doing some things. We're on the program at the Australian Ceramics Triennial.
Yes.
Woohoo!
In Fremantle. So exciting. We've booked accommodation.
We have. And that's about
Not
all
flights
we've done.
yet. It's in October. It's ages away.
Yeah, it'll creep up. But
yeah. No, it's really exciting. We're doing a presentation, just a bit about how we got started with the podcast and why we're doing a podcast and how we're doing a podcast. And then we're running a panel talking to people about what it is like to be a regional or remote maker. Mm-hmm. So fingers crossed it'll all come together.
I am really excited.
Yeah, me too.
And a few years ago, my mother-in-law was helping me make a list of goals, like a 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, and one of them was have something to do in the program for the Triennale.
That's exciting!
And I'm just kind of realizing, it's actually happening. Like, that was one of my biggest long-term goals.
Oh, wow.
And now we're here.
Yeah.
That's so
lovely.
cool. That's so cool. Just shows what love and passion for something can do and bring to your life.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I know, I feel a bit the same with the Journal of Australian Ceramics.
Yeah.
When I was first getting into ceramics, my parent-in-laws, gave me a big pile of those journals, and I just, absorbed them, and then I, subscribed, and every time they'd come, it was, the most exciting connection to the ceramic world, and now I'm part of it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And helping, curate this issue, which is really exciting.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
We're doing it.
We really are.
Yeah.
And we talk about how tired and busy we are, but, a bigger picture stuff is, look how far we've come.
I know.
Look what we're doing.
Yeah.
And look how much fun we're having. We can't wait to meet heaps of you at the Triennial.
Yeah, should be really good. Fremantle's a very long way. So if you do come, please come and say hello.
Yes.
And we can connect there.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
More friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's sign off.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed. You can find us on Instagram at birdsofclay_podcast. Please feel free to send us any questions or comments. And if you could leave us a review on whatever platform you're listening on, that would be amazing. We'll see you next time.